We're talking Ball State. Don Shondell and Ray McCallum talking Ball State. Nate Davis and Bonzi Wells. Schumann, Bell Tower, and Worthen. Fans all over from Muncie to Berlin. Getting Concannons, Carters, and Greeks. All right, everybody out there, guess what? We are live. Everyone out there, you're hearing my voice right now. We are live. You can say anything you want to Colin. You can say anything you want to me. And everybody, we are welcoming you to the first ever live edition of Ball State of the Union, your number one Ball State football podcast. By the fans, all of us, for the fans, all of you. We're talking current headlines, exclusive interviews with Cardinals athletes and coaches, and fun off-the-wall debates that you will not see anywhere else. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms. And if you heard that song, you know one thing's coming right now and what we're about to be doing. We're going to be talking Ball State. Colin, we've come a long way. We're live, man. Live and in person here tonight. It's an exciting time. We appreciate everyone out there who's watched along with us since we started and we're getting us to this point. So again, we are live. I believe we're on live on YouTube and Twitter right now. We're trying to get Instagram working as well, but it might be giving us some problems right now. But Colin, what are your thoughts on your first live show here tonight?
It's interesting. We got a little bit of an echo going, but I'm happy to be here. I'm happy we can do this. We can have a live show for the fans, and we'll get it straight out. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah, so we are
Glad to be here.
excited. We got a few people here watching right now. So everyone out there who's watching, everyone else who's going to see this clip, we just wanted to take a minute. I posted a video last night. We actually hit our 200 subscriber mark on YouTube. A couple months back, maybe 4 months ago now, Colin, I put out a video and we hit that 100 subscriber mark, and we doubled it in the off season here in the last couple months. So appreciate everyone out there for all your support. It's hard to grow on YouTube, so we're trying our best to get there as fast as we can. But all your support really means the world. And I know Colin is a big proponent of that. So Colin, do you have anything to say to all the fans out there who have helped us along the way?
No, I just really appreciate everybody. We got the echoing fixed. Showing love. We just jumped like 15 subscribers in a day. And guys, for us really to give you the best content possible, just subscribe, keep showing love. We're going to keep putting out great interviews, keep doing this for the fans. We appreciate everybody.
Sorry, I had a technical issue that right there as well myself. So live, we're going live here. So it's getting everything fixed out. So hey, let's just jump right into it. We got some news. As you see by the title of the video, we're going to be jumping in here in a few minutes with our friends from Boiler Breakdown. We actually recorded with them yesterday. They have a live show themselves tonight, and they're going to give us a detailed look at Purdue, and we're going to jump into that in just a few minutes. We want to talk about a couple of things that I've seen throughout the week here, Colin. And one thing, I remember when me and you first started the show, we had our Christmas wish list episode. Do you remember when we did that one? That's kind of the first one where we got started. Yeah. And one thing that we always harped on Ball State that we wanted to do is we wanted them to get creative and do different things and find out ways where they can generate money, whether it be for NIL, whether it be the Cardinal Varsity Club, whatever it is going to be. And I will say, I got an email this week that I think was pretty good. I want to give them their flowers here real quick. I don't know if you saw this or not, but let me throw it up here on the screen and I'll read kind of what it says. It's kind of small here. So you might want to we'll throw in this full screen here, but basically it's an email and it's saying there's some fun things that you can do with Ball State football this year if you want to have a group experience at the games. So basically you can buy a certain allotment of tickets and you can get some of these cool perks. So the first one, if you buy 80 tickets, say you have like a big, maybe like a football league or something for all the kids, you actually get to lead the Cardinals onto the field during the pregame. So youth players get to run out with the team. Like I said, great for youth teams. So if you're for whatever reason running a youth sports league out there and you're listening to this might be a cool experience. You can be the honorary captain for a game, buy like 30 tickets, something like that. Facility tour. Your person can, one person go out and get the tee after the kickoff. And you can also do what's called a fireside chat with coach. Now that one you have to buy 300 tickets, so it's a lot, but it's kind of a fun idea. Different way you can get some money coming in. You can get people out there buying group tickets, but I know which people are always interested in. So Colin, here's an interesting idea, a creative idea. What do you think about this? And will you be bringing your football team to maybe run the Cardinals out into the field later this year.
Yeah, it's actually a great idea because I was thinking, when would I have 30 people come to a game? But I wonder, can you do it like in consecutive weeks, or is it just for one game, John?
Yeah, I don't know. I think if you, for some reason you pull up with 80 people multiple weeks in a row, I'm sure they would let you come out multiple weeks in a row if you wanted to do
No,
that.
no, I mean, like, what if I have 40 and 40?
Oh, well, that I don't know. It says 80 minimum, so for stuff like that. But so that's a fun,
Okay,
interesting
okay.
thing. For some reason that interests any of you out there. It's kind of a niche thing, but that is an option. So, Colin, it is. Oh, we're not even. We don't have to worry about when we're posting this because again, we are live. We're live on YouTube. We are live on Twitter/X, whatever you prefer to call it. So, in 2 days, Friday is going to be the first day of the Ball State College Football 26 tournament. I know, Colin, you said you signed up
Hmm.
and you had some words you wanted to say about this. I don't know if you wanted to talk some trash. I don't know if you wanted to give some insight of how this tournament's going to go. You are participating. The first day is, I believe, this Friday. Let us know what you know about this.
Yeah, so I just got the email today. It looks like there's only 43 attendees or contestants. And somehow, John, I don't know if they're buttering the books for me or what they're doing, but they gave me a first round bye.
Oh,
There's some people that have a first round bye. There's only 43. And I don't even play this Friday. I don't play until next Friday, John. So they're trying to make it even easier for me to win this thing. Um, I'm not gonna say I'm like 10 out of 10 confident, but about a 7. I've been playing all Madden against the computer on Ball State versus, or not all Madden, I apologize. Heisman against the computer. And I've been winning like John, like 35-14. So I mean, I don't know. The human's gonna be a little bit better, but also I think I'm ready. And we'll really see. But they gave me the first round bye, and I'm even more confident now.
beautiful. Um, I know David, BSU edits on Instagram. I know he talked about playing, so I will have to see if he is playing. So, David, if you're out there listening, let us know if you're playing. I still want to, whoever wins this tournament, whether it be Colin, whether it be David, whether it be someone we don't know, I want Ball State of the Union to be your post game press conference for when you win the championship, whoever wins this tournament. So, open invite, whoever wins this inaugural, college football 26 tournament. We want you on Ball State of the Union as soon as we can after that's over, so you can have the press conference that you deserve. Also, while we're talking here, again, we're live. So if you have any questions or comments that you want to get off your chest, put them in the YouTube chat, put them on Twitter, and we will read them all at the end of the show. Okay. So again, tomorrow's Thursday. So Wednesday right now, we're live. Thursday is the much anticipated debut. I know we talked about this recently. Let me pull this up on the screen. The much anticipated debut of that Together series for SportsLink. And as Mick Tidrow was kind of explaining it to us, it's going to be kind of basically a hard knocks for Ball State football, but throughout the entire year. So it's going to be shot throughout the week. They're going to post it on Thursdays each week, I believe. And that's going to come out tomorrow night. So everyone be sure to look into that. I'm trying to see what time it comes out. Is 8:30 the correct time, Colin? Have you heard this? I'm not seeing a time in here right now, but I believe tomorrow night it comes out. And if not, maybe it's earlier in the day. Who knows? But it should be fun. I know you're going to be watching it. Is there
Oh
anything
yeah.
you're hoping that they cover on this, maybe in the first episode?
It's funny you brought up that holiday episode we did in December, because one of the things I criticized Ball State on was not having like a hard knocks type show, kind of like Here Comes the Irish, but our sort of deal. And this is exactly that. We're getting 12 episodes, one every week, once a week throughout the season, about the team, and it's like a documentary style. I think they're doing a great job. They're stepping it up. Kudos to Mick Tidrow and the media crew out there, because they're doing work. So I'm happy to see that.
Yeah, so I'm excited to check it out. SportsLink always puts out great stuff. It's one of the best, um, sports video production. I'm not sure the exact terminology, but programs in the entire country, if not the best. I think it is maybe even the best. So I am excited to check that out, and it should be a great show. I got a couple other notes here. I got a football note for this year, an interesting one that I noticed, and I'll pull up another screen here for a second. So one thing that I've thought was always interesting, Colin, was that Ball State football, a lot of our home games are always played at what I thought was a pretty weird time. We would always play at like 2:30. And so we actually have a handful of home games at times that got announced this week. And it seems like we're maybe moving away from that and going more to the traditional time slots. So let's look at a couple of the home games that got announced right here. So New Hampshire, that's still 2 o'clock. So that's, still not a super traditional time slot. I would classify the traditional time slots as 12 o'clock, 3:30, and then like 7:30, 8 o'clock for the primetime games. So 12 and 3:30 are kind of like the main time. So 2 o'clock is a little different still. And we usually play those home games at 2:30 in the years past. But look at this. Ohio, 12 o'clock. Akron, which is homecoming, 3:30. So it seems like we might be stepping off of that kind of odd 2:30 time slot because, you know, it's an hour before that second slate starts. No one else is really playing at that time. So I kind of get why they do it, but also everyone's already preoccupied with these games. And if you got a good game coming in at 12 o'clock, people are going to finish off that. So it is just something that I noticed. It's a very a nuanced thing that I noticed. But Colin, have you ever kind of put two and two together of those weird 2:30 time slots and maybe why we played them?
John, I haven't, but that's why people come to Ball State of the Union because you're gonna think of something. I'm gonna think of something. We're gonna bounce it off each other. That's a great. I didn't even think about that honestly. Like what time we played at. I'm always just there with the popcorn and a beer ready to go. But yeah, that's an interesting take. I don't really know. Like if we're gonna get better viewership moving it, but it's worth a shot. I really don't know. Do you think we'll get better viewership, John? Is that what you're saying, or like
Yeah, I don't
you
know.
just
I
like the
mean,
time slot better?
I just like that you're a more traditional time slot. If you go into turn on your TV to watch a college football game, and maybe you say, okay, I'm going to get there right at the start of these games. I know that those start at 12 o'clock. If this is your Eastern time, that is obviously in different time zones, and those are different. But you turn it on at 12 o'clock, or you turn it on at 3:30. Maybe that second round of games is coming on. So Ball State, if you get there at 3:30 for someone tuning in randomly, you're not going to be an hour into the game like you would have been in the past, it seems like. So, and maybe we will
Right.
have some of those games still, but that's just something that I noticed that we kind of jumped off that 2:30 time slot. So um, we have a big announcement, but before I get to that big announcement, I wanted to put something out there. Um, if you two things. Number one, if you are a Ball State student listening to this show, you're a fan of this show, reach out to me. I have a job for somebody to do on campus for me. Someone reach out to me. You can reach out to Colin, anybody. It doesn't really matter. Let us know I have a job for you. It's a very easy job, but something that I need someone in person to do. And number two, obviously we are the number one Ball State football podcast, as the intro told you. But here in the next couple of weeks to month and a half or so, we're going to be getting into the men's basketball season. And I'm going to want to be talking some men's basketball. Now, the issue is it clearly says right there, Ball State football talk. Colin is not really the biggest Ball State basketball fan. He doesn't dislike him, but he just really focuses on football. So if anyone out there is really passionate about Ball State men's basketball and would be interested in kind of coming on shows in like a weekly manner or maybe some post-game stuff, also reach out to me and we will try and work something out. So I'd like to talk a little basketball this year. And if we can do that, then let me know. So Colin, this is your last chance. Would you like to be the Ball State men's basketball co-host on Ball State of the Union?
I thought about it, John, but I think it would be good to really give somebody a chance in the community that knows what they're talking about. I mean, let's just be honest. I don't know basketball like that. Like, I'm helping, coach high school ball right now. I've been watching Ball State football for a while, very intensely. I definitely know my stuff here, but I don't even want to spread myself thin. And I think it'll be fresh for the channel to have you. You do such a good job being like the play-by-play guy, keeping us on track. I just think it'd be nice if we had another union member come on and maybe help us with basketball. I don't want to take a spot when someone could be deserving of that, especially like they know basketball. Come on, help us. I'll be watching. I'll help set stuff up for you guys. All that, but I just don't have the knowledge, and I don't want to pretend that I do.
Hmm. And this doesn't mean Colin's going anywhere. Obviously, he's still always going to be a mainstay of the show. But just in the future, I know basketball season is going to be coming around the corner, so I want to start looking for people now if I can. But Colin, we have maybe our biggest announcement to date so far.
Oh yeah.
So we have been sniffing around for a little while now, and we finally found somebody. We've been out there fishing. We've been putting the rod out there. We finally got a bite. And we would like to present to you our first ever as Ball State of Union, our first collaboration, our first deal, our first whatever you want to call it. Ball State of Union is partnering with the shop in Indianapolis, the Shop Indy. It's a t-shirt apparel store. They're in Indianapolis. They have a couple locations. They have always done, some Colt stuff, Pacer stuff, college stuff. So Indiana, Purdue, Butler, Ball State. And I always thought we'd be a natural fit to work with them. And so we have a little bit of a deal going on with them. They have a new fall line that actually came out today. If you go and order any of these or even anything, you don't have to just be Ball State. You can order whatever you want. If you're a Ball State fan, you're married to a Purdue fan, you can order a Ball State shirt and a Purdue shirt. It doesn't matter. If you use that code BS Union, that's BS Union in the promo code when you go to checkout, you can get free shipping on your order. You could order one shirt, you could order 20 shirts. It doesn't matter. Whatever that shipping cost is, it's going to be free if you use that code BS Union. And so I got to say here, Colin, with the shop, if you look at this right here, they might even be onto something that they didn't even know they were onto. They got a nice split. They're split 50-50 with the traditional Cardinal head and the Dancing Charlie. So, Colin, I know where you land on Dancing Charlie and traditional Cardinal head, but which of these shirts do you like the best? I think I'm going to order a couple of them. Which ones do you like the best?
Definitely bottom left. That might be for your lady, though. That might be for your girl, but I like that. I don't know if the cut is right. So maybe the one on the right with Dancing Charlie, bottom right. That might be the one. That might be the one. But yeah, for sure. Make sure you guys go and support us. We've been trying to get like a deal, a sponsor, whatever you want to call it, with someone for a while now, and this is our first partner. I'm sure there'll be more as time goes on. The way our channel is looking right now, the growth is crazy. Keep supporting us. And more people are going to want to work with us, and we'll get more deals like this to you guys. So the more you help us, the more we can help you. And I'm just super excited. I'm pumped. Like, this is the beginning. It's really cool.
Yeah. And so, like, for me personally, I think that gray shirt, that Chirp shirt with traditional Cardinal head, I think that's going to be coming my way here soon. And I'm going to get it sent to me with free shipping, even all the way down to Florida. I'm going to get shipped to me using that code BS Union. So again, thank you to the shop. We appreciate this partnership, and hopefully it's a long and a fruitful one for both of us. So, Colin, unless you have anything else, I think we're going to go ahead and jump into our interview with our friends over at the Boiler Breakdown podcast to look into the Purdue game this weekend. Do you have anything else before we jump in?
Hey, thanks for joining us live. Make sure you stay through the interview. That way you can type your questions. We'll see them, and we'll reply at the end of them, at the end of the interview.
That's right. Send in any questions. We're going to, again, this part was pre-recorded because they have a show right now, but we'll be back on when it's over. So stay through the interview, and at the end, we'll jump back on. If there's any questions or comments, put them in the YouTube chat, put them on Twitter, and we will get to them then. So stay tuned. Right now, our interview with the Boiler Breakdown crew, giving you a look ahead to the game this weekend between Ball State and Purdue. All right, everyone out there in Cardinal land, we got a packed house tonight. You'll see a couple of unfamiliar faces, but we're going to introduce them all here in just 1 second. Today, we are with the guys over at the Boiler Breakdown, their Purdue podcast, fan-made just like Ball State of the Union is, and they're going to give us an inside look at Purdue, so what we can expect here this Saturday between Purdue and Ball State. Now, fellas, thank you again for joining us. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your perspective on the Purdue Boilermakers. But before we jump into the game this week, Tanner, I know Tanner. We might have lost Tanner there for a second. So, Evan.
Yes,
Evan,
sir.
Let's start with you. How exactly did Boiler Breakdown, how did you guys start doing this show?
Yeah, so it started all the way back in 2018. Tanner, who we apparently have lost on this podcast already. Technical difficulties is pretty common with the Boiler Breakdown, it feels like. So Tanner had been doing a podcast with another one of our good friends since 2016, and he kind of approached me with the idea of like doing a kind of a Purdue specific side, because the friend he was doing a podcast with wasn't a Purdue fan, so Tanner couldn't really get all the Purdue talk in that he wanted to in his other podcast out of respect for our other good friend. So he approached me with the idea of doing a Purdue one, and we kind of started that in 2018 as kind of like a branch of Tanner's other podcast. And after that season, kind of the 2018 sports season, we kind of went kind of broke off and the Boiler Breakdown became an actual thing, separate with another one of our good friends, Andrew Riley, who couldn't join us tonight. And really since then, we'd been kind of rocking and rolling, having a good time with it. We started out doing recording podcasts, but now we actually, whenever we record, we go live on YouTube, Twitter, I think Twitch as well. So we had good interaction with people who are chiming in. And then just this last year, our good friend Aaron here, who had kind of filled in every once in a while when Andrew couldn't be on or I couldn't be on or whatever. And so we decided to bring him into the full time.
Perfect. Say, this is very similar type shows, fan-made shows, and we're glad to have you on. So we're going to get you guys' all your thoughts on Purdue here, but I want to give all the fans out there on the Ball State side and the Purdue side just a little inside look onto some kind of key, storylines or types of facts kind of going into this game. So both teams. Oh, here we got Tanner back now. All right, Tanner's back.
Sorry about that.
No, you're all good, Tanner. We're just jumping in. So both teams, new head coaches on both sides. Barry Odom coming over from UNLV, first game as Purdue's head coach. Head coach Mike Yurimovich for the Ball State Cardinals, his first game as coming over from the head coach of Butler, coaching against his alma mater. He's a Purdue Boilermaker like you guys are. A rare in-state showdown. We don't play Purdue all that often. I believe the last time was 2010. We play Indiana a lot. Purdue, not quite as often, but unfortunately, we have yet to get a win over Purdue. We've got a handful of wins over against Indiana, so we're still working on that part of it. But here, both these teams wanting to kick off this new era on the right foot. So let's get right into it. I'll start with Aaron. Aaron, we're going to start with you here. Give me the big picture of Purdue's offseason. I know, obviously, we know a new head coach. Are there any major, transfer portal wins or losses? Are there any other big storylines that Ball State fans should be looking at going into this game, Purdue-wise?
Yeah, I would say there's major roster moves here. The roster, it's 80-plus players that are completely new, that are coming in from the transfer portal or from high school that Odom and his staff have brought in. There's very even few names that Purdue fans even recognize on this roster in the field. So Barry Odom is definitely brought in a culture of what we have not seen. I would say probably since Danny Hope or Joe Tiller of discipline in talking with conviction, definitely in his press conference. Him and Henson and Schur definitely spoke that into the ether. A lot of things are still kind of unknown in regards to what we're going to run, but what UNLV ran and also what we've seen at Barry Odom when we played him when he was at Missouri. We kind of expect that offense and defense to kind of be that scheme that he's going to bring over. But it's going to definitely be just like you all have a lot of new faces in, and that's just the way the college football landscape has moved to is the transfer portal and NIL.
Yeah, and so that's what all the Ball State fans we've been trying to figure out for these last handful of months is what is this team really going to look like? And we don't really know. We'll find out at 12 o'clock on Saturday. Evan and Tanner, is there anything that Aaron maybe didn't cover or you want to reiterate about the offseason for Purdue and just, again, letting Ball State fans really know kind of where this team is at coming into this game on Saturday?
Yeah, like Aaron kind of mentioned there, I think the number ended up being the final number is either 82 or 83 new faces coming into the program, which is just absurd. I know you guys have 50 or 50 plus, which is crazy within itself as well. But some of the key losses I kind of wanted to hit on. Lost Dylan Thieneman, safety, who was a freshman All-American 2 years ago to Oregon. Will Helt, a defensive end, in-state defensive end nonetheless from Carmel High School, went to Clemson. And then Max Clare, a tight end who was real productive for the Boilers, went to in-conference foe Ohio State. So those three really stunned. There were some other contributors that left too, but those three are the three that stick out to me. And Aaron kind of hit the nail on the head there. A lot of Purdue fans don't even know a lot of this roster. We're only returning one offensive starter, and that's our senior running back, Devin Mockabee, who's got a chance to leave Purdue as the all-time leading rusher as far as rushing yards is concerned if he can stay healthy and have a good season. But so a lot of question marks up in the air going into Saturday, not only roster-wise, but also schematically what's Purdue going to run. But I kind of think that I'm excited for it. I think that adds to the excitement, at least for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think one thing too that these guys mentioned was the quarterback situation. Purdue had Hudson Card was our starter for the last 2 years outside of when he would get hurt. But one guy who played 2 games last year, at least started 2 games, was Ryan Brown, who ended up actually transferring to North Carolina under Bill Belichick for the spring, and then in the summer actually came back. So that was interesting. So he came back to Purdue. He's now been announced as the starter, which we kind of all expected. After he transferred, Purdue brought in, was it 3 or 4 quarterbacks? We had to from the transfer portal. We had 3. Yes, we had one guy who was still on the roster, Bennett Meredith, who had played like 1 game in the last couple of years. Again, when Hudson Card was hurt 2 years ago. We brought Malachi Singleton from Arkansas, who was kind of like, when he came in, it was kind of like, okay, this is the guy who's probably going to be the presumed starter, because he played in a couple games for Arkansas, played in the win against Tennessee last year, which is kind of like what most Purdue fans were latching on to. He played pretty well in that game, but the other 2 guys, we didn't really have a whole lot of experience. One guy ended up transferring out after the spring practices, and then Ryan Brown came back in. And it was because it sounded like the staff wasn't all that impressed with the quarterback play from the guys they had brought in. So they were trying to still find another one, and that ended up leading to Ryan Brown coming back home. And now he's our starter with Malachi Singleton as the backup. So it's going to be interesting for sure. Ryan Brown played in 2 games last year. One was a game at Illinois, which Purdue lost in overtime. Probably should have won. There was a questionable fumble call that should have been gone Purdue's way. That would have ended the game. But he played really well that game. And then he played against Oregon last year, and no one looked good that game for Purdue. So it's hard to fault him for that. But so not a whole lot of experience from the quarterback. So that's probably what gives me the most cause for concern. So we just don't know what we're going to see he can run. He's does really well on the ground when he runs, but we'll see. It's a lot of question marks.
Yeah, for sure. So my man up there, Colin, Ball State Football Talk on Twitter, he's going to be at the game on Saturday. I know he wants to ask you guys about some players on the offensive and defensive side specifically for him to keep an eye out on. So Colin, let's hear what you got.
Yeah, so I was interested in playmakers. I think we talked a little bit about it, like Maccabee, and then potentially Ryan Brown if he's any good. But what about defensively? Who are some players to watch? Who are the leaders of that defense? Do you guys know? I know there's 80 players coming in, but what's the sense right now?
Yeah, I think in the backfield, you could probably start with Tony Grimes. He's got the most experience. He's a captain. He was a representative at Big Ten Media Day, so that kind of spoke volumes. He came with Odom from UNLV. He's made a couple other stops. I think
this is his 3rd or 4th school.
Yeah, he's played at North Carolina, somewhere else before going to UNLV. Then he followed Odom to Purdue. A lot of experience in the backfield, or in the defensive backfield, I should say. Not a lot of experience at Purdue or in the Big Ten, so to speak, but at least just playing football-wise. So I think Tony Grimes would be one there. In the middle of the field, probably Manny Powell, probably going to be from a linebacker standpoint. He's kind of probably going to be one of the leaders on the defense, especially like a signal caller. And then up front, you could probably Harkless is a defensive tackle. Would you say Tanner, Andrew, or Aaron?
Yeah, and CJ Madden, who was
CJ Madden,
one of the Harkless and Madden were actually on Purdue's roster last year.
Madden was hurt. Yeah.
But Powell, too, like Evan said, he's also a guy who came with Odom from UNLV. There's quite a few of UNLV transfers sprinkled in this roster. So
I think one to also keep an eye out for is Crew Wakely. If not just because of his story. So he's about 27 years old. He actually
married. Yeah,
he's married. He actually spent like 2 years like selling solar panels before finding his way to college football. So it's just a really interesting, one of those weird, interesting stories. He played football. I think he didn't play football. Then he's back into it, but he's kind of another journeyman. But just from a story standpoint, it's not like he's been playing pretty well, but he's one of the quite literally the older guys out there.
They came from BYU.
Yeah.
What position?
Safety. Was it safety? Yeah.
Yeah, safety. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then, guys, what do you think?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. My bad.
I was going to say, I live in
Go
South
ahead, John.
Florida, so I have solar panel salesmen coming to my door all the time. So maybe I shoot them away at some point.
Guys, what's the weakness of the team this year? Do we know yet? And guessing, what would you think it's going to be?
I would have to think it's going to be wide receiver. I mean, Morset is out for this game. Armand Branch is probably the most experienced wide receiver we're bringing back. I would say that whole group is unproven. Evan Tanner,
Yeah.
that's
I
great.
think I'd say more unproven versus weakness. We just don't know. You've got a guy in Georgia transfer Nitro Tuggle. He was actually a guy who had some offseason shenanigans, I guess.
He likes to drive fast. Let's put
Likes
it
to
that
drive
way.
fast.
Most of those Georgia guys do. Yeah.
Yeah.
They really do.
Well, he's actually from Northern Indiana originally.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's and then a guy by the name of Michael Jackson also. He's apparently impressed the coaching staff and the people who have kind of been reporting on the team. So there's definitely some intrigue there, but just not like Aaron said, there's just not a lot of experience. And again, from the quarterback standpoint, like I definitely would not consider Ryan Brown a gunslinger by any means. So it'd be really interesting to see how they scheme the offense on that side. It sounds like, just kind of from what Odom has talked about, it sounds like they definitely really want to run the ball, which has not been a pretty strong point since we've watched Purdue football really. So it'll be interesting. The line should be pretty good. We also thought that last year and they were god awful. But hopefully some new coaching and better coaching and maybe actual coaching will help those guys.
Yeah, and you're talking about wanting to run the ball, and you were talking about the running back room. You guys have Maccabee, that's how you pronounce his name, right? Is that where you guys think maybe Purdue's biggest strength or kind of advantage in this game is going to be, or where are some other areas throughout this game that you think Purdue is going to be able to kind of exploit to their advantage? Is it just the talent difference and being a Big Ten team against a MAC team, or what's your guys' thoughts on that?
I think Purdue's going to have to establish the ground game. From everything I've read and heard from the people who've been at camp, they've been praising the running back room and both lines, really, the O line and the D line, which is something Purdue fans are not used to hearing. I know Evan or Aaron loves that. That's music to his ears, physical football. But even besides Maccabee, they have a young kid named Antonio Lewis, who was a walk-on. Now he's on Harris. Thank you. Was a walk-on. Now he's on scholarship. They got Malachi Thomas, a senior transfer from Virginia Tech, and then Jermaine Merriweather, who's a sophomore running back. So who's had some playing experience. So Purdue's not used to going 4 deep unless really needed due to injuries in the running back room, and even on the line. They keep saying how deep the O-line depth is, which is another thing Purdue fans are not used to. So I think they're going to just have to play physical, hopefully out-physical Ball State, establish a ground game, and including some runs for Ryan Brown, and maybe that'll develop some easy throws for him. Because my big concern with the offense, as was the weakness last year, was the lack of explosive plays. Mm-hmm. Not knowing a lot about the wide receiver room, I'm concerned there's still going to be a lack of explosive plays. We could probably count on one hand how many passes they had over 30 yards in the air last year. Yeah.
With that, it was how undisciplined too they were on both sides of the ball. We'd be in, let's say, third and manageable. We'd have a false start on definitely the line and push us back, and then we're punting. I can remember many times in that Oregon game that just killed us. But what this coaching staff has preached has been discipline, and something, again, we have not seen in a long time. So I think that's going to be the biggest key principle of this game is what do the penalties look like and what do the turnovers look like? Because I really don't know if there's going to be it's hard telling because all these guys played at lower level competition. Most of the guys we brought in played at lower level competition. So it's just, 6 months in a Big Ten facility is kind of all they had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like you guys were saying, discipline is the big thing. That was a big turnover that we're hoping that Leaf has turned over from last year from Ball State. Hell, I don't know if you guys ever saw this clip last year. Our first game last year, we played against Missouri State. Missouri State literally ran a play when we didn't have anybody on the field. Colin, do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
It was we were technically offsides, so the play didn't count. But yeah, Missouri State got to run a play when we weren't even out of the timeout huddle yet. So we're going through the same thing, hoping this discipline from this new coaching staff and Coach E, which all reports out there have said that's kind of is the same thing that you guys are hearing. We're hearing the same thing. It's that the culture has shifted. It's a more disciplined, more nonsense types team now. So Colin, wanted to get your guys' thoughts on maybe the kind of the outlet of the game and maybe even some predictions you might have.
Yeah. Yeah, before we go into game outlook and predictions, just real quick, I have a question about Purdue football in general. I don't really know the program that well. And my memory is basically like Drew Brees played there. And then at what point did things start to go downhill for Purdue? When did they become no offense or anything like that, but when did they become the basement dweller of the Big Ten? When did that sort of take place?
Well, it's happened twice in our fandom period. So you see, we all kind of grew up or kind of had formative years at the end of the Joe Tiller era. Drew Brees, I know Tanner remembers a little more than I do, but I vaguely remember seeing Drew Brees play. Had some really good years after that with Kyle Orton. Kind of had a good run of quarterbacks there, and then they got kind of mediocre with after Joe Tiller retired, and they brought in Danny Hope, who had been a coach under Joe Tiller, and had some decent success, but never was kind of hovering around that 5 to 6 wins a year sort of thing. There was one year that we won 5 games. Tanner, we probably easily could have won 10 if we we just had so many one score losses. But then really where the bottom fell out was 2013 when they hired Darrell Hazel from Kent State.
Colin is the number one Kent State hater on the planet.
All right.
There we go.
I love playing him, that's for sure.
Yeah. So he had just come off a 10-win season at Kent State. So it was we just actually did last week we did an episode where we did a blind ranking of Aaron had
eras.
Different eras of Purdue and how excited we were when they were getting ready to start. And Hazel was by far my number one. I mean, because we were all in school there, and it was the first time Purdue was paying a head coach more than $2 million. It was all right, we're investing, here we go. And then we won 9 games in really 4 years. It was miserable. So the bottom was had fallen out there. Then we brought in Jeff Brom from Western Kentucky, and he immediately won 7 games, went to a bowl, won a bowl game. You might remember in 2018, we beat Ohio State when they were number 2 in the country at Ross-Ade. That was a magical night. He ended up beating a couple of years later. He ended up beating Michigan State and Iowa when they were also ranked number 2. So he definitely brought Purdue back and kind of made them relevant. A highlight was 2021 when we won 9 games that year. 2022, we went to the Big Ten championship, thanks being in the Big Ten West mostly, but we, got beat by Michigan, who ended up going to the semifinals that year in the CFP or something, or the championship game, or I can't remember.
Yeah, they lost, but TCU.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Louisville, which Purdue fans knew that was going to be coming the moment he got hired, because he's the whole family is or Louisville royalty. Then we pivoted to Ryan Walters, who was at the time was kind of a strange, it was questionable hire because he had never been a head coach before. Purdue had all this momentum. You thought maybe they tried to go with a more experienced head coach, but the thought was, hey, he's young, in a new era of NIL and the portal, young guys will be able to relate to him. And for his first year, he won 4 games. We're competitive in a couple others. He beat IU, kept the bucket, which was a win for us, and actually probably signed one of the better recruiting classes Purdue had in a long time. And then last year, it just went downhill so fast. It was we were almost shell shocked. We played Indiana State to start the year, won 49-0. We looked good doing it, and then had a bye week and then hosted Notre Dame, and we were all excited for that. Then Notre Dame beat us 66-7. And then it was just oh God.
I think the season was over at halftime of that game.
Yep. Yeah.
I think the team was so down. It was done from there on out.
And they never recovered. Won 1 game last year. You lose to your 2 in-state rivals, Notre Dame and IU. Gave up 66 points both games. Scored 7 points combined in both those games. It was just because there was the thought of do they fire him? Do they keep him? It's only been 2 years, but it was just so bad that they just had that. Which credit to the Purdue athletic department for making the change. So I'm sure it wasn't an easy one or a cheap one, but it had to be done. It was just. It rivaled the Hazel years in just such a short amount of time. It's never good when you're in the same conversation as Darrell Hazel when talking about Purdue football, because that was a miserable 4 years, and it was a miserable year last year.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you for that. I had no idea, honestly. Our recent history, 2020, we won a bowl game, our first bowl game ever, won the MAC championship. 2021, 6-6, lose our bowl game. 2022, 5-7. 2023, 4-8. 2024, 3-9. So we're on this descent here. Got rid of the coach, and this should be the switch to get the program back to the shape that we're hoping for. But with that being said, how do you see this game? How do you see the matchup playing out this game?
Yeah. I'll let you guys go first.
I'm making this prediction without knowing much about Ball State at all for the team this year. I mean, historically, Purdue is 8-0 against Ball State. Haven't played Ball State since 2010, which was my freshman year at Purdue. I think that was a 24-13 win for Purdue. Actually, pretty competitive game.
It was pretty close till the end, yeah.
Yeah. I think this game could be pretty sloppy in the first half by both teams. I just have a feeling, new staffs, week one, don't know what to expect. I see it being pretty close until the fourth quarter, and then ultimately I think Purdue will pull away. If I'm throwing out a score prediction, I'll go something like 27-14.
Okay.
See a Ball State covering. It's 17, right?
Yeah.
17 and a half last I
it's
saw.
a little generous, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'll be there Saturday. It'll be a juiced house. I think there'll be a lot of.
It's close to a sellout, I think.
Yeah. I'm hoping that there's not going to be a lot of penalties. I'm hoping that the conviction and that this coaching staff's been talking with, that I'm hoping that we see it, but y'all having 50 plus new players, we have 80 plus new players. There's going to be some sloppy football, I think, for 3 quarters. And I agree with Tanner. I think you all cover. I think it's going to be 28-14. It's probably going to be the score.
Okay.
I'll be a little different. I think the first half is going to be pretty close, and I think it's going to make a lot of Purdue fans very nervous. I know Tanner will be on a plane, so he's not going to be able to check the score. So he's going to be.
My anxiety's going to be through the roof.
Yeah. I think it's close. I think as a Purdue fan, hoping that just the sheer talents and being a Big Ten team that should just prevail in the end. I'll pick Purdue to cover in the end. I'll go final score, maybe like 17.5. I'll go Purdue 38, Ball State 17.
Okay. This sounds very similar to our opening game against Kentucky a few years ago. Exactly how Tanner and Aaron both described it. It was pretty sloppy, really kind of like both teams really trying to find their footing. And then Kentucky had one of the crazier covers you'll ever see. Ball State was running the clock out basically because they were just surrendering, and they fumbled the snap, and Kentucky picked up and ran it back for a touchdown.
What a bad
horrible beat. But anyways, so it sounds somewhat similar.
Yeah.
We'll see how it plays out in the end. Obviously, like Kentucky and Purdue, no matter what Ball State does, no matter how great of a coaching staff is, no matter how prepared they are, there's going to be a talent gap. They can't get over that. They can get over it theoretically, but that talent gap is going to be there no matter what, and it's just going to be how they execute. Colin, I want to get your thoughts. What is your prediction for how this game's going to play out? Colin can get a little spicy with his takes sometimes, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm going to go 21-17 Ball State for the reason just Kyle Kelly alone. So Kyle Kelly he played 6 games in 2023, and they had him in a tandem with Marquez Cooper, who was a serial 1,000-yard back. Incredible year, but we turned to him too late. So he won 4 of those 6 games, but we turned to him too late. 2024, we rolled with Caden Samanza, and he ends up at Tulane this year. He's been waiting that whole time, biding his time, trying to get his chance, and he's hungry. We had him on the pod.
Nice.
I've been in his DMs telling him, hey, this Oregon player said it gets really loud there. They play the horns like on the goal line. He said it's one of the loudest environments on the low, apparently, is what he was saying. And he's saying they're going to be ready for it. I made sure the wide receiver knows that the funky end zones, how they have them painted. So
Colin's been all over that with everybody.
I've been researching as much as I can.
I love it.
I really think he's hungry, and I think I'm really believing in this new culture change, and it's given me a lot of 2011 Ball State IU vibes, new coach, and I think we're going to shock the world here.
One thing that's in Ball State's favor, and Tanner has to fact check me, but when's the last time a Purdue head coach won their first game at Purdue? It's been a minute.
Open 2009 against Toledo.
So it's been 3 coaches, 3 coaches. This will be the 4th coach, because Darrell Hazel lost at Cincinnati. Jeff Brom lost to Louisville and Lamar Jackson, and Walters lost to Fresno State. Yeah, so that's in Ball State's favor. One thing I forgot to mention, is from a Purdue standpoint that we want to Purdue fans are interested or eager to watch is special teams. It's been one thing that's been, especially the last head coach, special teams was awful. And supposedly, Purdue's got Coach Shebest, who is pretty revered in the coaching ranks as being a very creative special teams coach. And we keep hearing that Purdue practices special teams all the time, way more than they ever have. So I'm curious to see if Purdue needs a little momentum, do they bust something out? That's pretty crazy, because that was something that was fun under Jeff Brom in his first years, especially, where Purdue would throw out a random fake punt and it would just like, it would be a huge momentum boost and get the crowd into it when Purdue really needed it. And then that kind of went away. So we're curious to see if, from Purdue standpoint, if special teams maybe can win us a few games here or there, is at least not lose us games like it has in the past.
Yeah, because
how's the D line for? Yeah. Oh, go ahead, John.
I'll say that's definitely a way in these Big Ten MAC or MAC whatever conference. That's a way Ball State would be able to sneak in and stay in this game, is stealing something, whether a possession or even a score somehow on special teams or obviously on defense as well. But so, Colin, what were you going to say?
I was going to ask, how's the D line for Purdue? Because I believe our weakness right now is the offensive line for Ball State. So I was just curious how the D line for Purdue is.
Take it, Tan or Aaron.
Go for it, Aaron.
I was going to say it's a little bit. We don't have the talent that we had probably 2 years ago with Jenkins and Gordon, but Coffey's going to. I mean, we have Andreas Coffey in the safety end, but CJ Madden, it will probably cause some havoc in the backfield, I would say. It's just going to be depending on eye discipline, I would say, because I believe you guys do run a read option, correct?
Yeah, we will. With Kyle Kelly, he's
So that's where I'm kind of getting concerned about is our outside backers and DNs. If they over pursue, you guys can definitely probably have 6 yards easy on this defense.
He's super explosive, our quarterback, and we've got this new running back from Kennesaw State who's supposed to be the real deal. And when we had our quarterback in 2023, the same guy playing with a much smaller back, the results were really crazy. So to see him with a much bigger back now, and we just had a senior wide receiver on, and he said this tandem's going to be even better than the one in 2023.
Perfect. All right. So Evan and Tanner, you guys are, or Evan, you're going to be in West Lafayette, but not at the game. Tanner, you're going to be on a flight. Aaron, you're going to be there. Colin is also going to be there. Can you guys give Colin some West Lafayette tips and recommendations for his trip this weekend?
If you can get into Harry's, depending on the line, that's the Purdue bar. Harry's Chocolate Shop. That's a good one. So it's a noon game. So I'm trying to think of what might even be open.
Triple X will be open.
Yeah, Triple X will be open. It's a good breakfast spot if you're there early enough. It's kind of an old school diner. It used to be on Diners Drive-In, or was it Diners Drive-In Dives? Yeah. Years ago, it was on that. Guy Fieri was in there. Mad Mushroom is one of our sponsors. They have incredible cheese sticks, maybe before or after the game, if you're feeling that, especially after Harry's.
There you go. Shout out Mad Mushroom.
Yeah. Another good spot is AJ's Burgers and Beef. It's a great, if you're looking for a burger after the game, it's like a 5-minute walk from the stadium. Trying to think anything else, guys. If
you're a coffee snob like me, Grey House Coffee, it's probably the best coffee in town.
Okay.
That's all kind of relatively close to campus. If you're wanting to get out of campus a little bit towards Lafayette or West Lafayette, you got Waltz. There's 2 locations. Waltz is a good place. Waltz Pub's a good place. Let's see here. You got
6th Street Dive is really good. Really good Tex-Mex.
Yep.
That's in Lafayette proper. Yeah.
East End Grill's good too.
East End Grill's really good.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Colin,
is it worthwhile to come down there?
Yeah,
I'm taking notes. Is it worthwhile to come down there like a couple hours before and go tailgating? Is the tailgating scene really okay? Yeah,
especially this Saturday. It's pretty good. You've got the intramural field lots. That's where a lot of the students are, and then you've got tailgating all throughout the stadium. There's a golf course right next to the stadium. That's where a lot of people are tailgating at. The tradition at Purdue is every home football game, the students line up at the bars like 5 a.m. if not beforehand, called Breakfast Club. They wear costumes. So if you feel like partaking in that, it's always a good time. So bars will be packed.
And really, even though Purdue went 1-11 last year, the fan support was great. I mean, they still showed up every game, and it sounds like it's a near sellout right now. It'll be perfect weather in the 70s for August kickoffs. Unheard of. Not complaining, but unheard of. So I think it's worth going down a couple hours early and checking it out.
Yep, you can buy beer in the stadium too. So there's that.
Oh, there you
that's
go. That's
sweet.
nice. That's good to know. I went
Yeah.
to we played Georgia a couple years ago, and me and my friends went, and we were like, all right, well, we might as well just go in early because there wasn't that much tailgating going on, and they didn't sell alcohol in the stadium at all, and it was too late at that point. So that's no good.
Yeah.
So that's good to know. Beer is sold in there. And if for some reason Ball State somehow pulls off the upset this weekend, and someone runs on the field and plants a flag, it'll probably be Colin.
All right.
All right, fellas. I will go around one more time. We'll start up with Aaron. Just your final thoughts on the game this weekend, and then we'll get you guys out of here.
Awesome. I think it's going to be a hard-fought game. Again, it comes down to the fourth quarter. I think it's going to be sloppy, just because of roster turnover, coaches feeling them out. Still, 28-14, Ball State does cover the spread.
Okay, Evan.
Yeah, it's I'm very nervous just because, again, I have no idea what to expect, but excited to see it. I forgot how long it's been since we played Ball State, because I felt like we played you guys a lot growing up. I'm so glad to have another in-state school back on the schedule. Always had a soft spot for Ball State just because we had so many friends go there for school. So looking forward to it. Hope you have a good time, and you go Boilers.
Perfect. Tanner.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's been 15 years since Ball State and Purdue's played. And it's wild. We've only played 8 times in history, all at Purdue. I remember playing basketball at Ball State in 2008. Purdue won that one. That was that game wasn't even televised, so it made it even more nerve-wracking.
My brother was on the team then, actually.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Cool.
Walk
That's
on.
cool.
We went in this with our we interviewed the radio announcer for Ball State recently, but he had never heard of him. I'll give you guys as well. So shout out to my brother Joey. 2 games played, 2 minutes played, 0 everything else. So
Love it.
All right. Beautiful. But I wish Ball State would become more of a common opponent for Purdue. I think Indiana's only got 4 Division I football teams. I think they should all play pretty consistently, and it's a bummer that they don't. But I'm sticking with my prediction, 27-14. I think it's gonna be a pretty good game though.
okay, Colin, any final thought from you?
Yeah, I'm calling a close game. I mean, whether it's a close game and we lose, close game and we win, I think it's going to be a tight game. I think it's going to be a sloppy game, like Aaron said, especially first half. But the homer in me is not going to let Ball State lose this. My prediction.
Love it.
Chirp, chirp, baby.
All right, and Colin referenced this a little bit earlier, and we can end on this here. Back in 2011, Ball State found themselves in a very similar situation to they are on Saturday. We had a new head coach in Pete Limbo. Indiana had a new head coach in Kevin Wilson. And playing against a Big Ten team from Indiana, Ball State actually ended up winning that game. That was my first game my freshman year. Not saying that history is going to repeat itself, but we're just going to throw that out there. So where can everyone find Boiler Breakdown? If there are any Ball State Purdue crossover fans out there, where can we find you guys?
Yeah, we're on all social media at Boiler Break Pod, and our podcasts are on all major podcast platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all those. So please give us a follow and a like, and a listen and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we usually we don't have a set schedule, but we go live once a week during football and basketball season. So we're ready to get things going.
Perfect. All right, everyone out there. Again, if you are a Purdue fan or you know a Purdue fan, send them the way of the Boiler Breakdown crew. That is going to do it for our interview, our crossover interview. Guys, best of luck to Purdue this weekend and this season in general. And like Colin said, chirp, chirp.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for having us.
All right, Colin. That was our interview with the Boiler Breakdown crew. I know they're live right now as well. So whenever you guys are done watching this, if you're a Purdue fan or you know someone who's a Purdue fan, or you're just interested in what they have to say about the game, go over and check out their analysis of what's going to happen for this weekend. So, Colin, what were your takeaways from that interview? I know there's a lot that they covered about Purdue, giving everyone kind of an inside look. I thought it was a great interview. What did you think about what they had to say?
Yeah, definitely. I watched along with everyone. I wrote down some of my thoughts. I thought it was interesting. They said this year Purdue's going to want to run the ball a lot, but running the ball hasn't really been a strength for Purdue in the past. I thought that was interesting. Even though Devin Mockabee, the running back, has a chance to break the all-time rushing record for Purdue, they're still not super confident in that. I thought that was interesting, John. And then their weaknesses, from what I could gather, wide receiver seems like a major weakness. Random penalties. They spoke about that. And then the fact that there's 80-plus new players. I thought that was because almost double what we've got. I think we're at like 50 plus, maybe 50 new players. They're at 80 plus new players. CJ Madden on the D line might be somebody to look out for. The what's really in our favor, this was a really interesting statistic that I think Evan threw out there. The last 3 coaches have not won their first game at home. I think they're ripe for the picking. Another thing, John.
Hey, before this point,
Yeah,
while everyone's listening right now, be sure in the YouTube chat or the Twitter chat, put your score prediction for this game. What's going to happen? Are the Purdue guys going to be right? Is Purdue going to end up winning this game? Is Colin going to be right here? Is Ball State going to pull off the upset? Are they going to cover the spread? Put it in there. Let us know. I want to know what everyone thinks out there. I want to get a gauge where people are at. But sorry, I just want to jump in with that. Go on
no,
with
that's
the
good.
other
And
points.
that's a good point. And for these 77, 80, however many people that are in watching us live right now, make sure you go to the YouTube page, Ball State of the Union. Make sure you subscribe. Every subscriber helps. All right, my next point, John, what I noticed, and this is just kind of a general point. This is just, we're looking at this big picture here. Credit to these 3 guys. Credit to these 3 Purdue fans. Because honestly, John, it's like being a Kent State fan. These guys have been beat down their whole lives. Their whole lives. When we ask them, tell me about, like, how did Purdue get to this spot? And I know we're Ball State here. I'm not like, I'm not trying to poo-poo them like I'm Alabama or something, or Notre Dame, but these guys have been beaten down since Drew Brees and Kyle Orton left. So I just wrote down when they were going through their, they're like, Danny Hope was terrible. Daryl Hazel was terrible. It was like, man, where's the light in the tunnel? Where's the light out there? We see Ball State's going to cover the spread but lose by 10. I don't mind that, but I think you're wrong, Zachary Parrott. The score predictions that everybody had, it sounded like kind of Homer, like Tanner 27-14, Aaron 28-14, Evan 38-17. Of course, I said 21-17, but they had these high numbers. But if your weakness is wide receiver, and you guys want to run the ball, and you haven't run the ball well in the past, I think they're just expecting this natural divide between group of 6 versus power 4 to be what carries them. And I just don't know that that's going to carry them to a 21-point win. That's my thoughts, John.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said in the interview, that talent gap is going to be there no matter what. And it's up to Ball State to kind of come up and play up to Purdue's talent level. That is. So again, everyone out there, we appreciate the guys at Boiler Breakdown. So be sure to go out there and give them a follow if for some reason you're interested in Purdue athletics at all. I know they talk about football, men's basketball. So we're going to do a new segment here real quick. This will be our last kind of main segment. It's going to be throughout every episode from here on out. It's going to be our 3 chirps. We throw up the chirp. We got our 3 feathers right here. We're going to have 3 chirps. These are going to be basically your keys to the game. So Colin, what are your 3 chirps for the Ball State Purdue game this Saturday at 12 o'clock, which you'll be in attendance for?
Yep, I'll be there. Catch me behind the visiting side 50-yard line. My 3 chirps, John. 1 is the turnover battle. Who's going to win the turnover battle? Number 2, explosive plays. Just how the Purdue guys were talking about, the run game hasn't been really what their bread and butter, and then their weakness is wide receiver. We need someone to step up and make some explosive plays for us. Is that going to be Kyle Kelly in the RPO? Is that going to be Quay Ashley on kick return maybe, or as a running back? Is it going to be Keon Magwood on kick return or punt return? Where are those explosive plays going to come from? I think that's my really big question for the team. And then number 3, and you might be able to say this for any game, John.
Mm-hmm.
Offensive line play. Who's going to have the offensive line play where you walk out and you're confident next week because okay, they protected. They went in there, took care of business, kept Kyle Kelly clean. I don't know. And then right now we're thinking that might be a weakness for us. So I think that's a pretty big chirp for us.
Okay, that's your inaugural 3 chirps. Mine, 2 of them are similar to yours. I'll go with those first. First, number 1, most important, I think, is win the turnover battle. I think for a game like this, where Ball State is playing up either a Big Ten team or SEC team, you got to steal extra possessions when you can. You can't be giving up extra possessions because obviously, again, we have a talent gap that we have to overcome. So, number 1, most importantly, win the turnover battle. Whether that's beyond special teams, whether it's beyond defense, you got to create extra possessions for ourselves. Number 2 is similar to yours, but I worded it a little bit differently. I want to get our speed in space. We got some fast guys. We got Big Ten, SEC level speed in some positions. Kyle Kelly, Quay Ashley, Eric Weatherly, Keon Magwood. These guys are fast. If we can get these guys out in the open, get them in a situation where they have the ball with maybe one guy to beat, that's what we want to do. We want to give them a chance to show how fast they are and show how elusive they are. With Kyle Kelly last year, the times where he got in, what was happening? He was getting in the game. They were giving him the ball. Everyone knew he was coming in. He's going basically right up the middle. Didn't really work that great. It wasn't super creative. And we told him that when we talked to him that, it wasn't that creative of plays that were getting called for him. I think if we can get a way where we can get these guys out in space a little bit more, these fast guys, because again, we got some really fast guys, that's going to be a key for us. We're going to be able to, that's where our scoring is going to come from. And then lastly, I said we need to limit our unforced errors. So what does that mean? Penalties. We got to cut down on the penalties. We can't be giving Purdue extra chances. Let's say, for instance, they have a 3rd and 5 or something like that. We can't be jumping off sides. We can't be holding on times where we're going to move the sticks. We can't be giving them extra possessions based on penalties, and we can't be putting ourselves behind the chains early in the downs. Number 2 is coaching gaffes. I couldn't think of a better word for that. But do I expect coaching gaffes out of Coach Uramovich? No. He's been a head coach before. He's been a successful head coach before. But sometimes when those bright lights get turned on at a different level, things can be crazy. It's his first game. It's his alma mater. Those are bound to happen at some point. There's going to be learning curves at this level of football. Maybe, I don't know. But we got to limit those. We got to make sure our coaching is on point. And again, going one last point with that, we got to be prepared for every situation. We can't have a scenario where it's the end of the half and we're out of timeouts and we can't get the kicking unit on the field fast enough for like an emergency situation to kick the ball. So limit those unforced errors. Be prepared, no penalties, and have the coaches be on point. Those are my 3 chirps.
Yeah, let me rebuttal just one thing, John, off of
Okay.
one of your chirps.
Okay.
You spoke a little bit about like the offense has to be on point for this next game, the play calling, etc. And we saw like in 2024, whenever they would put Kyle Kelly in, it would just be that kind of stale. And I called it a RPO, but I'm not even sure he had a pass option. Every time they put Kyle Kelly in 2024, you knew it was a read option. It's either going to the back or he's running. So I don't think we'll have that problem here because these coaches trust Kyle Kelly to throw the ball. So I think we'll be fine.
Okay. Yeah. And say, like I said, hopefully they have come up with a plan for him. And like I said, specifically, these guys to get them out in space and be open. So those are our 3 chirps. Let us know if you guys have any other key points of the games or other chirps. Put them in these comments. We're about to jump into the comments right now. And we only have a couple of them. All from appears to be our new friend, Zachary Parrott. I know you had mentioned the first one, but he kind of came back. He said, looks like the score is going to be like a 24-14 Purdue win. So that would mean Ball State covers fairly easily in that scenario. But he also had another question for us here, and he wants to know, Colin, on the whole schedule, so the whole season this year, which team do you not want to face? Are there any teams that you do not want to face on the 2025 Ball State football schedule?
Yeah, I think the easy answer is probably Auburn, but I was watching I'm a big YouTube guy, so I was watching somebody made like the worst 10 Power 4 teams this year, and Purdue was on the list, and Auburn was actually on the list as well. So that
Interesting.
non-con this year isn't as bad as like years past. So I think, I'm not really scared of any team, honestly. Like Auburn is SEC, of course, but like I don't think they're that great this year. They're not gonna like do us like Miami did us, last year. So I think, the easy answer is maybe Auburn. Then the next answer is probably like a Toledo or a Miami, Ohio, or, but we beat those teams is the thing. Like we can play with those teams. So I'm not really, I don't know. Who would you say, John?
I'm trying to think here. Obviously, we have the two big money games with Purdue and Auburn, so that's where we're going to get there. Hopefully, no one gets injured, and we walk out and make sure the check clears. Those are two things for there. So this might be a little off the wall answer here, but I might even say UConn. And the reason I'm saying UConn is because they're a lot better, it seems like, than they usually are this year. And so for that kind of fourth non-conference game, we have two ones where we're going to get paid. We have one that should hopefully be a win against New Hampshire. And then we have another one that's usually more of a toss-up. And not only is that one on the road, but UConn's obviously better this year. So I guess maybe UConn, maybe I wish UConn was a little worse this year. But yeah, for the most part, not that I'm not scared of anybody. It's like there's no team on there that I'm really like don't want to play. Now, one team I do want to play is Northern Illinois, and I'm happy we get a chance to play them one more time. Hopefully, we can keep that trophy in Muncie for the foreseeable future. But yeah, so that looks like, unless anyone has any last second ones, that looks like that is the extent of our listener questions. So this Sunday when we are on for the post game show, basically. Make sure everyone who's listening, throw the comments in there. So before we get out of here, I just wanted one more time, Colin, to remind everybody of our partnership with the shop, the t-shirt shop, merchandise shop based in Indianapolis that do all kinds of stuff with the Pacers and the Colts and all the colleges. So we're partnering with them. If for some reason you go on there and you want to buy some Ball State stuff or some Pacer stuff, anything you want to see on there, if you use the code BSUnion when you check out, you'll get free shipping on that order. And these 4 shirts are their 4 new shirts that came out for this season. They basically just got dropped today. So be sure to visit the shop, Indy, and use that code BSUnion. So Colin, any last things before we get out of here?
Yeah, I do. If you've got anything, any questions, guys, any you want to prognosticate, whatever. We've got the call-in line. Visit my profile on Twitter, Ball State Football Talk, or John's profile, and you'll see on my banner it has the call-in line number. That's always available. You can leave a voicemail, basically, and we'll get back to you guys. Make sure if you're one of those 80-something people that are watching, make sure you subscribe. We need you. And then next time we're going to be on is that Spaces on Twitter. After the game, we'll have another Spaces. And then make sure you're catching the pod on Sunday.
Yeah, and so that phone number Colin was talking about is 317-426-6341. That is 317-426-6341. Leave a voicemail, text in pictures, send a text, whatever, and we can get that on whatever the next show is. So to everyone watching along with us out there, we really appreciate it. I didn't know if 0 people will be watching along, but right now it says we have 86 concurrent viewers. So that is a lot more than I was hoping for, or not hoping for, I was thinking we were going to have. So I really appreciate everyone out there. So that is going to wrap up this edition of Ball State of the Union. If you like this show, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so we can keep growing this Cardinal community. Share it with your fellow Ball State fans. It really helps us all out there get this community even bigger. And remember, last thing I want everyone to know. This week is all about one thing, Colin, and that thing is beating Purdue. We're 0-8 against Purdue all time. Let's beat Purdue. Let's shock the world. Let's get another, Power 4, Power 5, whatever you want to call it, win. So let's show out. If you're going to the game, make sure to wear red. Oh, Colin, you want to show people what you have. Wear red.
Yeah.
Be loud. If you see Colin, he will have the Ball State of the Union shirt on the back side. Boom, you got that QR code right there. You can scan it. You can scan it right now if you want. You scan it and get you to all of our social media pages, and be sure to follow so you don't miss anything. But
guys, if you see me at the game, say hi.
Yep, that's true. Take pictures. If you see Colin, take some pictures, send them in. We want to see all the fans out there. So everyone out there, chirp. We really appreciate your support. Twitter Spaces after the game on Saturday, maybe like 15, 20, 30 minutes after the game. We'll see you there. And until then, keep on chirping.